Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dugout Daily. I'm Charlie, and I'm joined by Bernard again. How are you, mate?
I'm fine, mate. Thanks for having us on. Be an interesting one today, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll get straight to it then. Real Madrid 3, Man City 1. It was 6-5 on aggregate in the end, with Riyad Mahrez scoring for City first, and then 2 goals in 2 minutes by Rodrygo in added time to send it to extra time. And then in the 95th minute, the 5th minute of extra time, Karim Benzema tucked away his penalty. What was your thoughts on it, Bernard?
Yeah, I think we can take defeat, mate, can't we? We can take defeat at the end of the day. If it's done, obviously we get beat by a better team. We know Real Madrid aren't better than us. As simple as that. And it was just the way it was done. We had the game won, basically. We had it won, and we blew it. And we'll probably talk about it in a little bit more depth in a minute. But I think we sort of blew it just in game management at the end of the game. I just thought it was quite poor from the 85th minute on, the way we played the game, and we're better than that. And I was very disappointed with the team, and probably disappointed with Pep at the end as well when it all comes down to it.
Yeah, 100%. We'll look at the team then that started the game, starting with City. The general 4-3-3, of course, with Ederson in goal. Kyle Walker returned at right back with Diaz, Laporte, and Cancelo making up the rest of the back four. Bernardo Silva, Rodri, and Kevin De Bruyne as the front three. Gabriel Jesus got another start up top with Mahrez to the right of him and Phil Foden to the left of him. That was give me a minute. That was so from that Leeds game, Walker came in. That's one change. Gundogan dropped out. De Bruyne and Bernardo didn't start, and neither did Mahrez. So it's 4 changes from the Leeds game the Saturday before. What did you make of the team, Bernard?
Well, I got 10 right in my team, so the only one I got wrong was Stones. I just didn't think Stones would be available to play, and I switched it from Cancelo on the right and either Aki or Zinchenko on the left. I can't remember which one now, but I got 10 of them right, and I was quite happy. I was fairly sure if Stones was going to play that he would be, because the league is a priority, he wouldn't risk him for this Champions League, because surely we needed him for our last 4 league games. So I'm fairly sure that Mr. Stones was fully fit, but obviously he wasn't. I'm being a bit sarcastic. Obviously, I just think it was a big mistake. It sort of worked for most of the game, but hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? But it didn't sort of work fully for the game, did it? So we'll talk about it more in a little bit. But that was my only difference. I just didn't expect Stones to play, and even though he did have a good game, which we'll talk about. Another mistake for me, in fairness.
Yeah. Big up T-Show and Mike, both in the chat as well. And the Real Madrid team looks like this, a 4-3-3 as well, with Courtois in goal, a back four of Carvajal, Fernandez, who came in for Alaba, who missed this game, who of course played in the first leg next to Militao and Mendy. Casemiro, who missed the first leg, came in. He was with Modric and Kroos in the middle, and then it was Valverde, Benzema, and Vinicius Jr. as the front three. From their Espanyol game on Saturday, they had 4, 5, 6, 7 changes. So quite a change team for Madrid, and of course they could rest players coming into this one. What did you think of the Madrid team, Bernard?
Yeah, as you said there, the players who didn't play again the last game, obviously where they tied up the league, it was no big problem for them. They could afford to do that, so they give players extra rest. And obviously, I think they tweaked, from what I believe, Ancelotti tweaked the tactics a little bit to I think someone said about played a couple of number sixes. I don't know the tactical side of it, but obviously whatever he did certainly negated a couple of our players. That's for sure. So obviously we didn't react to that again. But it was an okay team. But on the day, it wasn't any better than ours over the game, apart from the scoreline.
Yeah. The stats then looked like this. It was 14 shots to 15, 5 shots on target to 10, 44-56 possession, 532 passes to 659, 80% pass accuracy for Madrid, 83% for us, 14 fouls to 18, 4 yellow cards to 3, 3 offsides each, and 3 corners to 9. Do you think those stats fairly represent the game, Bernard?
Yeah, I think it sort of bears down really those shots on target on what a good game Courtois. I don't rate him particularly. I don't think he's a great keeper, but even he's an okay keeper, and okay keepers can have great games. And I thought he played very, very well. It was a bit not too sure about the goal. I don't think, he obviously a bit stood still. He does tend to do that sometimes. Sometimes a shot will go past him and he won't move. A bit like De Gea. De Gea in it for United, he'll make some fantastic saves and occasionally get beat by one. And he's just stood there looking at it. And he's the same sort of keeper. But I think those stats bear that up. 15 shots, 10 on target. And I think Courtois must have had a sort of influence on a few of those. So, those stats were... did they reflect a 3-1? Well, yeah, possibly on the way things went, obviously with extra time and stuff like that. So, yeah, probably right.
Yeah. And the attack momentum looked like this. So it was a fairly even game looking at that, really. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, obviously the high points, you have the peaks and troughs. The peaks with the City one, obviously, there's a bit more. Certainly that first half, I think Benzema had a couple of half chances that he blasted over the bar, didn't he? So they were getting chances, but I don't think they was as clear cut as we were getting. And I don't think they ever really dominated. I don't think either team really dominated. I think we had elements of possession each, but I think that sort of backs up what happened.
Yeah. Just before we go into the players, there was a quiet mood in the City dressing room at the Bernabeu, rather than players calling out who was to blame for the defeat versus Real Madrid, according to Man City first team sources. So that leads us into the players, starting with, of course, Ederson in goal. Played the whole 120 minutes, 2 saves, 1 out of 1 successful runouts, 1 save from inside the box, 49 touches, 64% accurate passes, 9 out of 23 accurate long balls as well. Thoughts on Ederson's performance, Bernard?
He's getting a lot of stick, isn't he, mate? I've seen a lot of criticism on the fact that we need a goal, we need a shot stopper, but we know that's not going to change. Not while Pep's playing. I think games like that, where I don't think Real Madrid pressed us that much, did they? Defensive, I don't think they put a lot of pressure on our back line. So them sort of games, where they're going to drop off a little bit, so we can't sort of ping these balls long or find players to create space. It's always going to look as though he's not doing much, and he doesn't have to do much in those games. As I said, even Stefan might have looked comfortable in defence against that sort of press, if you like, because I don't think they did that much of it. So, yeah, he's shot stopping. I saw him do one really good save late on. Obviously, as far as the goal concerned, he has to be partly at fault for not putting his body on the line. But that isn't Ederson, is it? Ederson does that. He's not frightened of putting his body on the line, Ederson. We know that. He's proved that. So it was just a lack of sort of speed to awareness to what was going on, as in. We'll talk about Cancelo and Diaz, who were sort of culpable as well, I thought, in that goal. And all the City midfield and defence were culpable at some stage. So, yeah, I think people are being a bit unfair on him because, I certainly made one good block where at a crucial time. I remember that. And I say to start getting on his back and saying he's no good, we want a shot stopper and all this. Ederson's Ederson and he suits what we do. And what we do didn't quite work. So, Ederson perhaps didn't quite work either, but I don't think we can blame him.
No. and that was actually his 50th Champions League appearance as well for City. So moving in to right back, it was, of course, Kyle Walker who started the game. He was on the pitch for 72 minutes. One clearance, one block shot, one interception, 4 tackles, 4 out of 5 ground duels were won. 1 out of 1 aerial duels were won. 10 times he lost possession. 1 foul. He was fouled once. 45 touches. 72% accurate passes. None out of 1 accurate crosses. None out of 3 accurate long balls as well. Thoughts on Walker's performance, Bernard?
One of our best players while he was on the pitch, I thought, and we know that. We know, we've said it before. We've said it on air. We've said it. I've said it other places, and people have said it. He's just a key. He's just key to our defence. Walker, his pace keeps us at it, and yeah, he did keep Vinny Junior quiet for 70 minutes, but. For me, it perhaps wasn't a risk worth taking. I wouldn't have took the risk. I mean, I would have even stuck Egan Riley or something like that if need be, if Pep was worried about it. But as I say, it nearly worked. It lasted for 70 minutes, but potentially I can't see him playing again this season. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's not as bad as that, and he does play. I've not seen. I'm not sure what he said in Pep's press conference. I don't think he's confirmed either way, has he? I don't think. I've not watched it, but. It's just disappointing because you say he was excellent. We know he's excellent, but I'm sorry, I would have just took the chance and not played him and done something else. But I thought it was excellent in himself, and not his fault, is it? It's not his fault he played. It's not his fault he was asked to play. But I'm sure we knew he was going to break down. That's a bad decision for me.
Yeah. Into the centre backs then, the first one being Ruben Diaz. He was on the pitch for the whole 120 minutes, 5 clearances, 1 block shot, 1 interception, 2 tackles. He gave away the penalty. 2 out of 3 ground duels were won, 4 out of 6 aerial duels were won, 12 times he lost possession, 1 foul, 77 touches, 81% accurate passes, 3 out of 7 accurate long balls as well. Thoughts on Diaz's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, it's just that, like anything in these, it's margins, isn't it? And everything good he did, which he did a lot good. He was just at fault for the penalty, and it was a pretty poor penalty to give away. And his reaction to it. All right, he's got to say to the ref he got the ball, but he didn't. Obviously, he fouled the player, and with VAR these days, you can't get away with that anyway. Just accept the fact that you've done it. It's no good whinging about it. But I think the team as a whole were down by then anyway. I think we'd lost that, whether it was the penalty or something else was going to happen. We'd lost that game at that stage anyway. So we perhaps could have gone for penalties at a pinch, but no, it just obviously it's just a shame. I mean, at the end of the day, we need our top players to step up, and he did step up for most of his performance, but not just that one error put us out of the competition. So he can't take, he has to take some of the blame.
Yeah. Big up Mike, T-Show, ORT Racing, and Chelsea fan in the chat as well. Into the other centre-back then, Aymeric Laporte. He also played the whole 2 hours, 4 clearances, 1 block shot, 2 tackles, 2 out of 2 ground duels were won, 4 out of 6 aerial duels were won, 8 times he lost possession, 84 touches, 92% accurate passes, 7 out of 9 accurate long balls as well. Thoughts on Laporte's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, again, I think he played quite well during the game, a bit like Diaz played well. But I'd say apart from at the end where Diaz was a bit slow to react to that certainly the first goal. And Laporte, it's just zonal marking, isn't it, mate? I mean, if you put a cross in and then you're marking your zones, you're not particularly marking a player. If he goes over your head and gets to the player behind you, or he gets a deflected header and it goes to the player to head it in, there's not a lot he can do. So I'm not going to have too much of a down on Laporte or Diaz for the 2 goals in normal time, but in extra time, I just thought all the team just lacked it, and he was culpable as well because he just lacked anything in extra time. But he didn't have a bad game up for 89 minutes, as none of them did. They played a superb game. It's just unfortunately the game goes for 90 minutes plus, doesn't it? And we suffered, but it was okay. But then yeah, a bit disappointing at the end.
Yeah, yeah. Big up Anthony in the chat as well. Hope you're well, mate. And into the left back then, João Cancelo. His stats looks like this. 2 clearances, 5 interceptions, 2 tackles, 5 out of 8 ground duels were won, 3 out of 4 aerial duels were won. 24 times he lost possession, 118 touches, 84% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 1 out of 5 accurate crosses, 6 out of 10 accurate long balls, 1 shot on target, and 3 out of 4 successful dribble attempts. Thoughts on Cancelo's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, I didn't think he did that much, to be honest, in all fairness. I've seen a couple of things saying he played quite well and then sort of petered out a bit, but I didn't see anything. When we needed him defensively, he's not there, but he's not a defender for me. He doesn't know how to defend, and that first goal, perhaps he should have been a bit deeper to sort of react when the ball was pinged across to the left-hand side. He should have perhaps been quicker across. There's too much space between him and the guy. But I see that in games all the time where the defenders know a good 10, 15 metres away from the striker. So if there's a perfect ball play, there's not a lot, there's not a lot they can do within the space of a couple of seconds. But yeah, it was... for me, when we needed him defensively, like the other guys, he just wasn't there. And going forward, I think you said there he had 1 key pass. I don't particularly remember what that was. I just thought he was okay, but nothing more than that.
Yeah. We have got news from the Amex. Brighton have just scored to take the lead against Man United. So it's Brighton 1, United 0 in that one, just to brighten up the mood a bit, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah. Next up then, Rodri. He was on the pitch for 99 minutes, 80 touches, 95% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 5 out of 6 accurate long balls, none out of 1 successful dribble attempts, 4 out of 6 ground duels were won, 1 out of 2 aerial duels were won, 4 times he lost possession, 1 foul, 1 clearance, 2 interceptions, and 4 tackles. Thoughts on Rodri's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, played okay, Rodri. Thought he played okay. Obviously, you can say you can't blame him for particularly anything, the goals, but he's supposed to protect the defence, isn't he? At some stage, that's his role. So you can't, even though you can't specifically blame him, he has to take some of the blame, surely. But I thought he had definitely had a good game. He was quite comfortable for most of it, as we were. So. Yeah, again, as I said, I can't say yes, that was his fault or that was his fault. So no, he had a goodish game, a fair game.
Yeah. Next up then is Bernardo Silva. His stats looked like this. 1 assist, he assisted the Mahrez goal, of course. 94 touches, 90% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 1 out of 2 accurate crosses, 5 out of 6 accurate long balls, 1 shot on target, 5 out of 7 successful dribble attempts, 9 out of 21 ground duels were won, none out of 1 aerial duels were won, 18 times he lost possession, 3 fouls, he was fouled twice, 1 interception, 2 tackles, and he was dribbled past 3 times as well. Thoughts on Bernardo's performance, Bernard?
One of the there's probably only 2 or 3 guys didn't let us down. Obviously, we mentioned Walker, and Bernardo's another one. I just thought he played excellent. He was excellent, had an assist, as you say. I thought just a typical Bernardo. We've seen a couple of perhaps poorer performances from him recently, but no, he was no blame on Bernardo at all. He had an excellent game.
Yeah. And next up then is Kevin De Bruyne. He was only on the pitch for 72 minutes, 52 touches, 84% accurate passes, 3 key passes, none out of 2 accurate crosses, 2 out of 3 accurate long balls, 1 shot on target, 1 shot blocked, 3 out of 3 successful dribble attempts, 6 out of 8 ground duels were won, 13 times he lost possession, he was fouled twice, and 1 tackle as well. Thoughts on De Bruyne's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, it's funny when we're in the watching it with my lad, and about the first 10 or 15 minutes, we were both saying that him and Bernardo look as though they're up for it. Yeah, and then after that, it was just a damp squib. He just disappeared. He was absolutely waste of time. In all fairness, we expect KDB to turn up for the big games. He sadly didn't turn up for this. This is why I was not hoping, because I didn't want him to be injured, but I'm trying to find a reason as to why he wasn't very effective. But as I said, I think before we start, when we in the intro, I believe Ancelotti did something with 2 double sixes to sort of negate what KDB could do. So I mean, what worries me is the fact, can Pep not see that, and can KDB not react and change something, and actually get him back in the game, because he was literally not in the game. He wasn't doing anything from about the 10th or 15th minute, as I said, when I thought he played okay, started okay. And then so obviously up to the 72nd minute, as I say, I thought he went off injured, but he'd done nothing. They'd done nothing tactically to change it, to get him more involved or whatever. They, move him up, move him across, do something with him. They just didn't do anything with KDB. And you think back to the Champions League final last year, and all right, he got injured and taken off, but he was absolutely abysmal till then, as most of us were. But you rely on KDB to step up. And I'm sorry, he just didn't step up in this game. Just wasn't good enough for me.
Yeah. Into the front three then, starting with Riyad Mahrez. He was on the pitch for 85 minutes, 1 goal, 2 shots on target, 2 out of 2 successful dribble attempts, 43 touches, 82% accurate passes, 1 key pass, none out of 1 accurate crosses, 5 out of 6 accurate long balls, 5 out of 10 ground duels were won, none out of 2 aerial duels were won, 8 times he lost possession, 3 fouls, 1 blocked shot, 3 tackles, and he was dribbled past twice as well. Thoughts on Mahrez's performance, Bernard?
Not great, but he was there to what should have done and win the game for us, and that's what he did. And that's what, when we talked about KDB a minute ago, who did nothing to sort of help us win a game. And that Mahrez goal should have been enough to seal it for us. That should have killed him off, basically. It certainly did for, up till the last minute. It certainly did kill him off. There was no hint that they were going to get back into it at any stage whatsoever. So all credit to Mahrez. He took the goal excellently. I think I said Courtois looked a bit flat-footed, but obviously I think Mahrez caught him, sort of hit it perhaps when he wasn't ready. I'm not too sure. But I'm not going to criticise Mahrez. Said he didn't have a great game, but he scored the goal that should have took us through to the Champions League final, and unfortunately it didn't.
Yeah. Next up then is Phil Foden, but before that, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Phil Foden then, he was on the pitch for 120 minutes, 2 shots on target, 1 shot off target, 1 out of 2 successful dribble attempts, 51 touches, 76% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 1 out of 5 accurate crosses, 2 out of 2 accurate long balls, 4 out of 10 ground duels were won, none out of 2 aerial duels were won, 18 times he lost possession, 1 foul, he was fouled 3 times, 2 offsides as well. Thoughts on Foden's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, I thought he played okay, but obviously not much in the last third, was he? I thought he played generally okay and ran around, and Real struggled to keep up with him and keep control of him. But when it came to that last third, I just don't think there was anything there from Phil Foden. I can't really remember anything outstanding. But it doesn't mean he had a bad game. He just wasn't effective in that final third, because I think Real Madrid didn't enjoy trying to chase him around, which is a good thing. But not a bad game, but just an okay game from Phil, I think.
Yeah. Next up then is Gabriel Jesus. His stats looked like this. He was on the pitch for 78 minutes, 1 shot on target, 1 shot off target, 31 touches, 78% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 2 out of 4 ground duels were won, none out of 1 aerial duels were won, 7 times he lost possession, 2 fouls, 1 offside, and 2 tackles as well. Thoughts on Jesus' performance, Bernard?
Yeah, a bit like Foden. He was obviously playing further up the pitch, but he didn't give Real Madrid much time, and he defended from the front, if you like. He was hassling all the time. without being anything spectacular, say. And it should have on the day. If all the team had played okay like that and done the job, we would have been through. But Jesus did his bit. Unfortunately, other people didn't do theirs. But I thought he had again an okay game. Nothing spectacular. Just a good, steady, work hard game.
Yeah. Next up, then, before we go into the subs, big up Big Morgan in the chat. He says we want a replay. Hi, boys. T-Show said,
we'll talk about the ref later, no doubt, won't we?
Oh, we will. T-Show has said, absolutely insane semi-final. One of the best I've seen in recent years. Too bad for the loss. OR2 Racing can't believe what happened as well. Well, I couldn't believe what was happening when it was actually happening. Had a couple of days to reflect, and it's not got any better, let's be honest. We'll move on to the subs then, starting with Zinchenko. He was on the pitch for 48 minutes, 1 clearance, 2 interceptions, 5 tackles, 6 out of 7 ground duels were won, 5 out of 5 aerial duels were won, 15 times he lost possession, 1 foul, 61 touches, 75% accurate passes, 2 key passes, 1 out of 2 accurate crosses, 2 out of 3 accurate long balls, 1 big chance created, and 1 out of 1 successful dribble attempts. Thoughts on Zinchenko's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, it's not hard. It's not easy to come on, is it? With 18, 20 minutes to go in a Champions League semi-final. No credit to him. I thought he adapted himself very well. I don't think we can lay any particular blame what he did in defence for the goals, any of the 3 goals. I don't remember anything that he did, and he looked okay going forward and stuff as well. So yeah, it was on a sort of what's it called, punt, it's not an easy. I mean, it wasn't. It's just not an easy thing to do, is it, mate? Last 20 minutes of a Champions League semi-final. All credit to him. All right. All credit to the fact Real Madrid didn't look as though they wanted to sort of throw everything at us. To be honest with you, it never really happened. So he didn't have. It wasn't so. It was all hands to the pump, if you like. It never became that sort of game, which perhaps should have done. It didn't. But no, he did all right. He did fine. Obviously, I thought he could have probably played from the start in respect, and probably we wouldn't have suffered if he had.
Yeah. Next up then is Ilkay Gundogan. As Big Morgan says, Madrid's man of the match was the referee. So, yeah. Into Ilkay Gundogan then. 48 minutes he was on the pitch as well. 39 touches, 94% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 1 out of 4 accurate crosses, none out of 2 accurate long balls, 8 times he lost possession, and 1 interception. What did you think of Gundogan's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, it looks as though it helped us win the game, didn't it? When the tactical switch, KDB, we had to take him off because Pep couldn't decide whether he could alter the tactics. So obviously he brought another player on instead and just took KDB off. But yeah, I thought he played very well. I thought he was a difference, and I was all ready to be chuffed and say, yeah, it was a great substitution, and it helped us win the game, or see the game out and get through to the final. But unfortunately, I don't think there's any detriment to Gundogan that we didn't. Unfortunately, when we get into extra time, he's probably not the player we need. We need something a bit more creative at that stage, and we didn't have it then. We'd thrown the dice, and he'd put the further on as well, which we'll talk about in a second. So Pep had already thrown that dice, so we didn't really have the personnel on the pitch in extra time perhaps to win it then. That was the unfortunate thing. But no disrespect to Gundogan. I thought he played very, very well in the time he came on. He certainly seemed to settle it down a little bit, and certainly contributed towards the goal by settling the midfield down and making us look a little bit more creative.
Yeah. Next up then is Jack Grealish. His stats looks like this. 42 minutes he was on the pitch, 41 touches, 83% accurate passes, none out of 1 accurate crosses, 1 out of 1 accurate long balls, 2 shots on target, 2 out of 2 successful dribble attempts, 1 big chance missed, 6 out of 9 ground duels were won, 7 times he lost possession, 2 fouls, he was fouled twice, 1 interception and 2 tackles. Thoughts on Grealish's performance, Bernard?
Another one who's getting loads of stick, isn't he? But again, he was inches away a couple of times from being a hero. That's what football is. Cruel football, isn't it? I mean, he could have been a hero and all these guys would have had to get back under the rocks and hide away. I mean, the first one where he got cleared off the line, all right, I think he was surprised the fact that he got behind Courtois and the goal was there, but obviously all credit to the Madrid player, so perhaps he could have done better with that, but I think it was just a split second reaction to just get his shot on target, and obviously unfortunately the Real Madrid player was there, but the second one it was just Courtois' foot. It was in there. That was going inside the post or in off the post. It was definitely in his second one, so just a fantastic save from Courtois, kept it out. So he was so close to being a hero. I'm not having all this bullying of him, picking on him. I thought for the again to come on in the Champions League semi-final at that stage and do what he did, all credit to him. I'm not going to have a go at him. I thought he did very well.
Yeah. Next up then is Fernandinho. His stats looked like this. 35 minutes he was on the pitch, 29 touches, 82% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 1 out of 3 accurate long balls, 2 shots off target, 1 big chance miss, 4 out of 4 ground duels were won, none out of 2 aerial duels were won, 4 times he lost possession, he was fouled 4 times, and 1 interception. Thoughts on Fernandinho's performance, Bernard?
Well, this is where I talk about game management. Was told I don't understand what was going on. I mean, I thought, all right, he replaced Mahrez, didn't he? I think he replaced Mahrez. And I thought, well, fair enough. We'll put another man next to Rodri, another DM or someone to help the defence. And he spent more of the game in the opponent's half, more of that last few minutes in the opponent's half, even though obviously we were winning the game 1-0. I thought he was there to bolster the defence, and he didn't. He was up the pitch. All right, I can accept that when we end up going into extra time, but there's no option. You've got to have him up the pitch. But even before that, and that's, for me, he brings him on. He's an extra defender, and that's what I thought he was bringing him on for. I mean, I might have missed. I say I've not watched the match back. It's just my view from looking, being a bit disappointed, watching it on the screen in the pub. So I haven't watched it back, but I just get the feeling that he just came on as was playing in a more attacking role as just as a replacement for Mahrez. I have no idea. I mean, for me, game management, last 5 minutes of a game, you take the ball into the corners. You can drop. We can do that. We've done it. Pep's done it. There's nothing wrong with doing that. We fall over and get cramp. We've done it loads and loads of times. Why didn't we do it? Why didn't we do it on Wednesday night? Why didn't we fall down with cramp like they were doing all extra time once they'd gone in the lead 3-1? I mean, the actual game management and playing the game, if you like, from that point of view, we were absolutely rubbish. And that Fernandinho summed it up for me, because I just thought he came on to bolster the defence and was playing up front. So I'm lost. I'm lost with this one, Charlie, because we're better than that. City are better than that, and I just don't understand what we did. We say you remember the times when we've gone into the corner flags and got free kicks and throw-ins with our ball players, if you like, with the Bernardos and guys like that. But, so you take your Mahrez off. Grealish could have done it. He could have gone into a corner. Bernardo still could have gone into a corner and wasted time. We just didn't do it. Just naivety. The naivety of it is unbelievable, considering how much experience we've got in the manager and the players. So yeah, I was a bit frustrated with He played okay, don't get me wrong, but I just can't understand where he was playing. I was totally at a loss.
Yeah, 100%. And the final sub was Raheem Sterling. He was on the pitch for 21 minutes, 2 out of 3 successful dribble attempts, 18 touches, 86% accurate passes, none out of 1 accurate crosses, 3 out of 8 ground duels were won, 1 out of 1 aerial duels were won, 7 times he lost possession, 3 fouls and 1 tackle. Thoughts on Sterling's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, well, it wasn't ever going to make any difference. I mean, as soon as he come on the pitch, I didn't get excited about it. That's for sure. Just a matter of throwing someone on. He may as well shove one of the kids on. It doesn't make any difference, does it? It's just another pointless exercise in a Raheem Sterling substitution. That, all right, we're not talking hindsight. We just knew there was nothing there. We'd gone by them. We'd gone by this late, we'd gone by extra time. Never mind the fact they scored the third goal. We'd gone and added him to the mix. Just give one of the kids a chance or something. What's it matter? We're going out. Just stick one of the kids on for 10 minutes at the end. Again, just poor for me.
On to the manager, Pep Guardiola. Did he get it right?
89 minutes, yeah. He got it right. Walker, no, he didn't get that right, in my opinion. Obviously, he's advised from people about this, but it's probably cost us having Walker now for the last 4 games, and this rubbish about the Premier League being more important, the most important thing. Obviously, we could, he's right. He's not sacrificed it, but he's certainly potential to sacrifice it. We've not got Walker, because he's one of our key defenders. We know that. So, yeah, for 89 minutes, perfect. But as I say, game management at the end, with his experience, and the fact he didn't know how to utilise KDB properly as well, worries me a little bit, that we didn't see what was going on that was making it hard for KDB, and sort of change something. And we know Pep doesn't change much. He sticks to what he does. And that's frustrating. But as I say, game management, 89 minutes, perfect, Pep. But I mean, surely when Fernandinho came on, there should have been instructions to perhaps change the game and do little things and go to the corners and do all bits and bobs. And I'm sorry, I'm sure Pep didn't tell him and they ignored him. I just think he just was happy. He was happy how it was, and that's what Pep's like. He was happy with his team. He was happy how they were playing, so he left it as it was. But for me, I would have tweaked it, but I'm not Pep. He's certainly won more than I'd ever win, but I would have tweaked it. So 89 minutes, excellent. Walker, not too sure. Last couple of minutes of normal time and extra time, pretty poor.
Yeah. We've got some Pep quotes then. He said, "We were close, but football is unpredictable. Sometimes it is like this, and you have to accept it." He also said, "It's simple. The first half, we didn't have the game. We didn't have game. We weren't good enough, but didn't suffer much. After the goal, we were better, found our tempo. The players were comfortable." He also said, the last 10 minutes they attack and we suffer. It wasn't the case. They had 10 to 15 and we couldn't cope. They put a lot of players in the box and they scored 2 goals. He also said we didn't suffer much, but didn't play our best. It's normal. Semi-final, the players feel the pressure. We were close. Football is unpredictable and we have to accept it. He also said the players are sad. They were close to reaching the final. Now we need time to process, come back with our people at home and the last 4 games we have. He also said we were close but couldn't reach it. The players are sad. They need time to process it. He says, yeah, it feels cruel. We were close, but at the end we could not reach it. In the first half, we were not good enough, but we did not suffer much. After we scored, we were better. We found our tempo and the players were comfortable. And finally, we didn't suffer much, but we didn't play our best. That's normal. It's a semi-final and the players can feel the pressure. We have to accept it. Now we need time to process that and come back with our people at home. So we'll move on to the opposition then, Real Madrid. How do you think they played, Bernard?
Yeah, I mean, they were in there, weren't they, mate? Obviously, if you're only one down, you've always got a chance. To say it only takes a second to score a goal, and that, obviously, any proof of that, we saw that the other night, of course, 2 goals in, I don't know, a ridiculous amount of time. I don't know how much it was, but Yeah, congratulations to you. I mean, I think they lulled us into a false sense of security. Then all of a sudden, two cracking attacks and two cracking balls into the centre, and a couple of quick reactions from players, and they're back in it. And they say extra time. I think there was only one winner. I think obviously all they had to do was get that one goal, then just sit it out, and that's what they did. Or the game management. We didn't have a chance after that, so. Yeah, they did what they have to do. I think Liverpool will tear them a new one if they play anything like they should. But I don't think Liverpool will make the mistakes we made. But yeah, they're an okay. They're the Spanish champions. They're a good team, but at the end of the day, over two legs, City were the better team. But that's why you need a bit of luck in cup competitions. Not always the best team wins, and we've seen that.
Yeah. Next up, then, the referee. Daniel Osato. How do you think he did?
Yeah, well, I mean, you've probably seen the thing on Twitter of his, like a little show reel of his stuff, and that thing with Modric where he high fives him. I've never seen anything like that in my life before. I'm sure it wasn't photoshopped. I'm sure it happened. I didn't notice it at the time. I think it was like the 49th minute, was it? 50th minute. And obviously Modric is on the floor and he goes across and high fives him. I don't. I mean, I'm saying someone might have put that together. It might not be true, but that just, even without that, it was just awful. Again, it's the usual fault with these referees. They don't give bookings when they should, and so players who should be booked, they commit another foul where, in fact, they wouldn't have committed it if they'd been booked in the first place. As I said, we talked about the Dallas incident, didn't we, the other day with Leeds? That player should never been in the position to injure himself because he should have already been in the book and he wouldn't have done something stupid, or he shouldn't have done something stupid. And this European referees fall into the same thing. I was a bit surprised. That Laporte incident with Modric. When I thought someone said he sort of slapped Modric. I didn't see that. I've not had a chance to look back or anything like that. I was a bit stupid, Laporte. And I thought, he could have easily sent, say, Laporte off, knowing if he was really against us, but he didn't. He just booked both players. But obviously that left our centre-back on a yellow card, which doesn't help, of course. But, as I say, that one behind, the pulling back, it was the same player, wasn't it? The pulling back of Foden and then the foul on KDB was the same. Casemiro, was it? Was the same player? I'm sorry, he should at least got one booking. He didn't get any bookings. I'm sorry, your manhandle. If you pull a player and manhandle a player, it should be an automatic booking anyway. It shouldn't be any doubt about it. If you pull a player back, that should straight away be an automatic booking. I know, but even so, that one with KDB from behind where he sliced, he actually wrapped his legs around him. It's just not good enough, and these referees are just not good enough. And it does, it's no wonder people talk conspiracy when you see things like this, because you're bound to, and we're certainly not going to stop booing the UEFA anthem anytime soon, are we? That's for sure. Based on that, it's just another horrible, useless waste of time of a referee, Daniel Osato. Absolute rubbish.
Yeah. Next up, then. Onto the fans. There was a big display before the game at the Bernabeu. It didn't look like Benzema to me, but it was meant to be.
Yeah, I think there's a few people held the placards up or something. I'm not too sure. At least it didn't end up on the pitch, did they? At least they didn't get thrown at anybody. But then again, with all those coverings on the seats, they're probably too far away to throw. So
Well, there was quite.
Obviously it's hard. It's hard for the City fans there as well. Obviously, I don't know what was the crowd, Charlie. Do you know what the crowd was?
I'm not sure, but I think City took 2,000.
I mean, obviously when we scored, you saw them jumping up. I mean, I don't remember hearing them too much, but the sound wasn't very good where I was anyway. But I mean, all credit to the fans who went over there. Hopefully, there was no real trouble or anything like that. I've not heard. I think there's a guy hurt. I'm not sure how he got hurt. I've seen something on Twitter about a guy been seriously hurt over there. I'm not sure what happened to cause that. I just know someone's in a bad way, which is not the first time it's happened this year in Europe, is it? Let's be fair about it. But all credit to him for going over there, and it's such a shame. That it ended as it did. But I think the Real Madrid fans are not the most liveliest, are they, in Spain from from playing them and knowing about them, and they didn't bring many to our place, did they? And I thought it was quite funny. They were trying to get back in with those guys that had left, and they want there's images on social media of the Real Madrid fans trying to get back into the stadium because they left at 1-0, of course. So that was quite funny. But hey, there's a few City fans with memories of '99 doing that. So I suppose we'd let them off, I suppose. But yeah, it was okay. They were passionate once they came back into the game. That's for sure.
Yeah. Next up, then, onto your man of the match. Who are you gonna give it to?
Who am I going to give it to? Bernardo. Has to be Bernardo, I think. Walker for playing through what he did. I mean, but generally for playing 120 minutes, I have to give it Bernardo. Although, as I said, the last 30 minutes, I don't think anyone really played that well for City. But certainly, I'll give it Bernardo with a honourable mention for Walker for doing what he did. In the circumstances.
Yeah. And finally, on tomorrow now, City against Newcastle. How are you feeling for that one?
Yeah, I'm confident. We'll win it. I'm sure Pep's not spoke to his players, and I think that's part and parcel of what Pep does. I think if you upset Pep, I don't think you want him to talk to you. You want him to keep away for a bit and not say anything, because we know from that documentary, obviously the other year, we know what he's like. Pep, he's that passion. We know he's got the passion. He certainly shows it sometimes on the touchline. Sometimes he doesn't, depending. It's like any of us. I'm sure he can be very moody, but the players know what they got to do now. They got 4 games left, and that's it. 4 games. I'm hoping. Fitness-wise, they're okay. As I say, I was worried about KDB, but it was just tactical. There's no injury to him, so I'm sure hopefully he'll come back firing, and Newcastle won't come up with a plan like Ancelotti did to negate him, to keep him quiet. So, yeah, plays best team. All right, we'll have sort of struggling at right back again, aren't we? But certainly Newcastle at home, I think we said off air before the game, I'd rather that than we were playing Wolves away or West Ham away, in all fairness, although West Ham away would have been all right after their shenanigans. That would have been okay. Yeah. They'll be disappointed as well. So Newcastle's the best probably team we could probably play. They're playing well. They're in 10th position now. They've had a good run. Perhaps not as good away. They got all the points at home, haven't they? I think they won 6 on the trot at home and then lost to Liverpool. So all the points they've gained have been at St James's. So there's no reason to think they're going to spring a surprise tomorrow. And we've got to be up for it. If we're not up for this tomorrow, it's just sacked a lot of them, mate. And they're not up for this game tomorrow in front of the fans. And if the fans aren't up for it as well, same with the fans. If we don't get there and get behind the boys, you can get sacked as well. It's just one of those days. Now we've got 4 games to win the big trophy. It's only one left, and it is the big one for any English team. Like Champions League, it's for City fans. It is big, but the Premier League's the week in, week out, the bread and butter, the one that's the most important, that's the hardest to win. So let's win it and start. We have to start with Newcastle tomorrow because we've got a couple of tricky away games then, but got to win tomorrow. No doubt about
that. Yeah. Big Morgan has said it did happen where the referee high-fived Luka Modric.
Yeah, I think it would have took some great skill to fake it. It just looked so, but I just can't believe what I saw. I mean, I want to, do it. I remember Everton getting an apology for a so-called handball, didn't they? So I want an apology off UEFA. Should a referee be high-fiving a player on the pitch in a game? There's got to be something wrong with that. It's all right shaking hands. All right, say, well, it's like shaking hands, but it's not really, is it? It's not. And it's not shaking hands. It's something totally different. So well done. Just give him a foul as well. That's the best of it. He just awarded a foul against Bernardo and high-fived Modric, who was sat on his ass. So that's it. Interesting, very interesting. But we only get called bad losers and stuff like this, but there are serious things behind these sort of actions, and Big Morgan's quite right. If it was just shocking, just weird. It's like, you know, even after the match of the, like, I remember the Halsey incident in '99. You won't remember that, Charlie, but obviously he's supposed to be drinking with the City fans, and obviously there's a bit of an uproar about that he was dead happy because obviously the Gillingham game, but obviously I think he'd been in the bar or a hotel, and obviously was with City fans. There's not much you can do about it, but yeah, similar to, you know, that you can expect, but not on the pitch during a game. I just don't know what all that was about, but yeah, we'll be fine.
Yeah. And Big Morgan has also said, change the O in Osato's name to an A. So, and he's not wrong. So just before we wrap it up, where can we find you, mate?
Yeah, I'll just start at Twitter. Go on to @Bird_Dineen. If you don't follow me already, I'll follow you back if you go on there and do that. And of course, all my YouTube stuff you can get through it on there. You can find it all on there, and obviously my film and TV stuff as well. If you like your films and TV, like I do, not as much as I love City, but I do love my films and TV as well. But yeah, so get on that Twitter account, and I'll give you a follow back, and just check out all my stuff on there.
Yeah, cheers for coming on
Once
again, mate. So you can find me here, Dugout Daily on YouTube. Hit the Apex on YouTube as well. Dugout Daily, the football channel. Hit the Apex, the F1 channel, and at MCFC Hibs on Twitter. So everybody, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you all later. Take care, and goodbye for now.